Welcome to Flavour of Art.
Thank you very much, man. So glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
So good to have you. So now that lockdown is over, what have you been doing with yourself?
Well, lockdown's just been over not too long ago, so I was trying to get back into things. Trying to get some more auditions. I've been doing a lot of studying. Also trying to get back into a lot of creative things. So looking to hopefully in the future organize a bunch of events and see if I can get back into the acting. Yeah.
You're a Nigerian man. What was it like growing up in Nigeria?
Oh man, it's always good growing up home. It's always good. I mean, Nigeria, we're everywhere, but I loved it. I can't say much about it. It was a really good time. It was a lot of my growing years as a kid was in Nigeria. I didn't live there for too long, so I grew up in so many different countries because of the nature of my dad's work. But we would always, visit Nigeria for the holidays or visit for Nigeria for an extended period of time before moving to the next place. And I'd always loved every time we went back home to Nigeria. Obviously, the rest of my family's back there now. My immediate family, my extended family. I have a lot of friends that I grew up in Nigeria, so it's always really good. And every time I go back to visit, oh my God, it's like nothing changed. You can go back and catch up with the people that you used to catch up with, for those who are still there. Nigeria is a place after my heart. It's a hectic place, but, I feel like if you know Nigeria, you can live anywhere in the world.
Why do you think Nigeria, faces so many challenges in comparison to Ghana and neighboring countries? Obviously, with the recent SARS issues and law enforcement and the killing of protesters.
Leadership, is a very big part of it. If you don't have leaders that can show good example, then how do you expect the rest of the country to follow? There's so many varying factors that can come to this, but I think that if we begin to look into good leadership, good education, involvement. One of the problems or the issues that I have with Nigeria is you have leaders that were leading in the 70s, 60s, after our independence, are still leading the country now, and with absolutely no change or no change in the way they do things, which is hindering the country a lot. I think that the opportunity needs to be given to the generation to do things in a very different way. And if we don't try different things, we're never going to get different results. And right now, we continue to get the results that we're getting because we're doing the same things. And, it's a whole nother conversation. But I believe that if our leaders of today give the opportunity to young people, young people need to have a platform to speak for themselves. Young people need to have a platform to show that they're also part of the country and the economy. And if we don't express or share that voice with them, then, we're always going to have this conversation. So for Nigeria, I think those leaders from the 70s and 60s need to step aside and just give new people the opportunities to try something different.
When did you realize you wanted to be an actor?
I'll tell you that one. Easy. When I did my first wrestling show, entertainment wrestling. I've always loved acting. I've always loved to go out there and be somebody else or something else for a few minutes, temporarily. And I think for me, it was when I first did my first show as an entertainment wrestler. I'd always been very interested in wrestling. Watched The Rock, watched Hulk Hogan, John Cena, all those guys on TV. The 90s wrestling too. And I was always very curious. And so I had an opportunity in Australia one day to join an entertainment wrestling company, an amateur entertainment wrestling company. I wasn't quite sure what I was doing at the time, but I thought, give it a go, something different. And I remember my first show, they had asked me to choose an alter ego. I got to come up with a move, I got to decide how I'm going to interact with my audience. And so, going on stage and doing that for the first time and seeing the reaction, I was like, I want to do this. I want to see where this takes me to. And that made me make the decision to go into performing arts. I got the opportunity to do a few shows and a few plays. And now I'm like, yeah, I can't see myself out of that. It's definitely been a joy to get into this space of work.
How long ago was this?
Man, my wrestling show was in 2011. I remember that. Yeah.
So tell me, who's Big Wemsy Black?
Oh, that's him. That's Big Wemsy Black, BW. Yeah, Big Wemsy. So I did entertainment wrestling in Canberra for about 6 years or so, and my stage name was Big Wemsy Black. And for most of the time, I was the crowd favorite, and so I would come in and get the audience going, and when the wrestlers came in, it was either win or lose, or it was fun times. I think for me it was great because I had the chance to exercise. I also had the chance to pursue my passion at the time, which was just an introduction to acting. And it was mind-blowing to me that people would recognize me outside as BW, and I was like, wow, well, you know what? BW is actually getting a lot more likes than Wem, so I might stick to this guy for a little bit. But look, that was a fantastic time in my life, and it's something I'd definitely love to go back and do one more time. Right now, if I do it, it might take me a couple of weeks to heal up, but it was definitely something I enjoyed doing for sure.
Your first show as a stage actor was To Kill a Mockingbird.
Absolutely.
In Canberra.
Absolutely.
Where you played the Reverend Sykes.
I did.
Tell me about that experience.
Man, that had to be one of the most wonderful experiences in my life. I got into that role. It wasn't intentional, let's just say that. At the time, I was working in a marketing company, or for a marketing company, and I had a client in the opera industry who was, I guess we were doing some work for this show. And as part of that show, they had given me a couple of tickets to come in as a thank you. So I went to the show, and after the show, I met this lady who thought, look, you would be fantastic in a theater production. And I thought, well, I'm not really sure about what it is, but I'm gonna go into it. And look, the story goes on. I did my first show. It was beautiful, and I wouldn't take it back for anything else in the world.
How big was the set? How big was is that what you call it?
Yes,
Set?
a set. It wasn't a very big set. First it was done in Canberra, and Canberra is not as big for theater as, say, Melbourne. So it wasn't a large set. I think it was about not up to 10 actors or 12, can't remember. But it was beautiful. It was very intimate, the audience were very close. They could really feel the moment. So it was the storytelling that really got me. But yeah, I loved working on the set. I loved working with the people, and I loved working in the place. It was great.
How many people came to the show? And were you nervous?
Oh, very nervous, very nervous. I think that show ran for about 2-3 weeks, if my recollection is correct. So we had 4 shows a week or so, and I think the capacity was about 300 people or thereabouts. So not a very big show, but over 3 weeks, seeing 300 people for 4 days, it does add up. And that was my first time. So yes, I was extremely nervous, at least for the first 3-4 shows. And then after that, it becomes muscle memory. And then you know what you're doing, and it's just about fitting into the glove and doing the job. So that was fun. And even right now as an actor, I'm always itching to get to that point where it just becomes muscle memory, so that I don't have to worry about it too much. I know what I gotta do, I know what I gotta say, and once it hits the muscle memory, it just flows naturally. And yeah, To Kill a Mockingbird, I think after the 3rd show, that nerve went away.
300 people. There's 300 people in Canberra?
Yes, if you believe yourself, other people are going to believe you. You can't come out there and not believe your character. Because if you don't believe your character, the people watching you, the people you're trying to tell the story to, will not believe you as that character. You had to. One of the things I love about theater is the embodiment of character. I'm a method actor. I love to get right into the character, and just go for it. And I think To Kill a Mockingbird was the first time that I worked with other actors, and I saw, I think for me it was an introduction of how me to go in this business, how they put themselves into it, and how the characters became the characters, and how the audience related to these characters. And coming out of that experience, I knew that if I was going to pursue this profession, then it would have to be, something that, I believed in myself. And by believing in myself meant that you believed in me. I think that we, as a people, need to be more proactive in coming together and creating contents that we would like to show and teach ourselves, which is where we get into. There's a lot of us, there's a lot of young people out there that are doing amazing things, and it's beautiful. And we need to congratulate them, and we need to tell their stories, and we need to showcase them, because this is what we're talking about.
Are you working on anything in terms of directing, or have you got a story that you would like to tell?
Oh, yes, absolutely. What I would love to do, my next stage is to go into producing and directing. And I do have a lot of stories to tell. One of the things I would love to focus on in the near future is tell African stories. And I'm talking about stories that we don't necessarily get taught about. I'm talking about stories that have inspired the African continent, because there is so much about us out there that we don't know, that we haven't been taught, that we don't even imagine. So one of the things that I would love to do is bring back some of the stories, not only for us, but for the rest of us, in the diaspora, and for the rest of us in the African continent. We're such a large group of people, and I think that there's so much, and I've said this a few times, there's so much we can offer. So for me, African stories is definitely something that I want to go into, and I want to be able to share our culture, share our successes, share our experiences, and then make us understand that we can also do these things.
If you were to categorize yourself, what would you say you are?
Like I said, I'm a method actor. I like to go into character, whatever character it is. I like to embody the essence of the whole thing, understand what the character is about. If there's a backstory, understand why the backstory is there and how it affects the future. So yeah, I definitely like to go right into, the whole aspect of whatever job that I'm doing.
The full Monty, talk to me about getting naked on stage.
Oh man, that was the most terrifying thing at the time.
Getting your junk out.
Absolutely. If I had to do it again, I'll do it again now with no problems. Don't get me wrong. But
of course
at
you
the
would.
time, oh my God, it was the biggest step I've taken in my life. Scary. And again, until I did it for the first 5 times, and then I was like, yeah, everyone can see my thing now.
For the first 5 times.
I mean, we had it was a big show. I think the show went for 4 weeks or something like that. I can't remember, 3-4 weeks. And so you do it every day, and you're doing it in practice and all that. But look, that show really wasn't even about that. And I know that was a big part of it, but I think the Full Monty for me was a show about character altogether. It was a bunch of old guys who thought that they could be strippers, young strippers, and they realized through the work that, my God, it's not easy even taking your pants off. And that play from end to end actually taught me those characteristics, where I had to play an older character. I think my character was about 50 years old, so that was 1. 2, I had to strip nightly, not only just in front of my colleague actors, in front of a whole audience. Hey man, I prayed a lot, man. I prayed the night before, too long.
In front of how many people?
700 was the capacity, I remember that, yeah.
So Pornhub didn't call you to...
I wish.
What's the next step for you in terms of your acting?
Man, I want to go all the way. I always say, when I get asked this question, my goal is to achieve the highest possible level of acting that I can achieve.
What's that? What does that look like for you?
I would love to be in a Netflix show, a blockbuster movie in Hollywood. I would love to go back to Nigeria, where the industry, the movie industry there is quite big, and do a few projects back home. So those are my kind of goals, and I am really working towards that. Nigeria is something I know that I will definitely be pursuing, because I really want to do something back in my continent town. I got aspirations to get into Hollywood one day. I got aspirations to do things in the theater industry. I would love to win a Tony Award. So I think for me, every day, my goal is to continue to improve, and my goal is to continue to edge towards my big goals, my bigger goals, and we're just gonna keep working until we get there. Oh, my first bad set was in the wrestling. My first show. I think I hit somebody really, really, really hard, and I wasn't supposed to. And that, yeah.
Who do you look up to, or what kind of actor do you think I would like to be like that?
Denzel Washington, my man. I always say, you know, if I can be anybody, I want to be a mix of Denzel Washington and Will Smith. Those two guys are phenomenal. The talent that they possess are off this chart. You know, I learn a lot just by watching and seeing them work every time. The commitment to what they do, the talent that they display, their intelligence, how they go about creating platforms through the success for other people. I think I am very encouraged. And look, there's so many other people that I look up to in this aspect. But I think that as an actor, if I wanted to emulate somebody, if I wanted to come out in the shadow of somebody, for sure, it would be Denzel Washington and Will Smith.
Any others?
Man, I can go on. Jamie Foxx. I love Jamie Foxx, you know. Jamie Foxx for me is an amazing talent. You don't come across people like Jamie every day.
You know, he was a stand-up comedian.
Absolutely. That's how he started. He started off as a stand-up comedian, and then he went into acting. And this guy can go in and create albums and hit number ones and come back and just keep doing movies. You know, yeah, Jamie is phenomenal. And there are other actors like Jamie, but there's not too many of them. So for me, Jamie, Will Smith, Denzel Washington, and Viola Davis.
She's amazing.
Oh my God. Oh my God. You know, those people, when I watch them, I can just sit down and watch them forever. And you know, what they've gone through in their lives to where they are right now is always a testament that we can do it. If they're doing it, we can do it.
Do you write a lot in terms of a screen show or anything of that nature?
It is something that I would love to get into. And like I said before, one of the things I want to do is tell African stories. So I think going into that space or that pathway,
you're gonna have to start writing.
Have to start writing. But it's something that I think I would love to. I don't think I've put enough time just yet. But it's something that I absolutely think that I would love to start doing. Yeah.
So apart from acting, is there anything else that you would like to do?
Well, that is a big part of my goal, but you know, my other life is, my professional life is, I'm a project manager. So that is what I do if I'm not acting. And I think for me, those two things are very similar. As a project manager, I love to deliver projects that have positive connotations or positive meanings to the community. So whatever I'm delivering has to be able to help somebody in some way. And for me, project management is like acting. You come together, maybe with people you may know or may not know, come up with an idea, spend some time working on that idea, and then you eventually deliver it and it's released, you know. And for me, acting is the same thing. You know, I can come together with a bunch of people that I may know or may not know, come up with an idea, rehearse for a period of time, and then go out and deliver that production or deliver that performance and release it to the community. And just like acting, you know, people leave the stage or leave the theater thinking or feeling or some way. My project management life is like that. I want to be able to be doing things that help the community, that help people. So one of the things that I'd love to do as a project manager would be to go back again to the continent of Africa and invest my skills and capabilities to delivering essentials for the continent that would help the youth, that would help people, that would create a platform that people can excel. And I think that I can do that with acting, I can do it with project management. And I think that, you know, it's something that I feel like I can do. So that's something that's very dear to me. So right now, I'm just honing my skills in project management as well as performing arts. And soon, I want to be able to go back and actually give back with these skills to the continent.
So as an actor, how do producers and directors find you?
I've got an acting agent, which helps. Yeah, so it's always good to have somebody helping you in this process, because doing all of these things at the same time can become very stressful. So I have a lovely agent who helps me coordinate my life per se in this space. So what I do, or what happens, is I would generally get a call or an email sent to me about a few jobs happening, and I would, my agent would then go ahead and put in this request. And if I get called back for an audition, then fantastic. And then I can go through the process of booking it. So it's not just a solo effort. There's a combination of people out there that help you get to this stage. But I still have to do the work myself too as well. I have to go out there and research. I have to go out there and apply for stuff that I may, I have to be able to perform, so that when other casting directors or other producers, come across, they know, okay, this guy can deliver what we want. So it is a combination of a whole bunch of people, but you still have the responsibility of making sure that, you keeping yourself on the right track.
What advice would you give to aspiring actors?
Go for it. If you're gonna make the decision you are taking to put yourself out there, it's already amazing. It's not an easy thing. So go for it. You are changing lives. Someone out there is gonna hear your story. Someone out there is gonna be inspired by what you're doing. Someone out there is gonna see you and want to do what you're doing. So never doubt that what you're doing does not matter. Go in with the zeal that you have now, because even when you get the job, you're still going to need that same kind of zeal to prosper, to succeed. Be aware of yourself. Never let yourself go. Always keep on top of everything. But I think for me is be genuine. If you love what you're doing and you do what you love, I don't think you can go wrong. It might not be an easy road, but persistence and continuity is something that I can definitely advise. But most of all, have fun. There is no point going to do any job that you're not having fun in. Most people are doing 9 to 5s out of necessity, which we understand. But if you already have that problem, then why go pick up another problem that you have to not enjoy while you're doing it? So do something that you love, do something that you enjoy. And when you get in there, be the best at it. Try and be the best at it. There's also no point doing a job where you're going to be the mediocre at it. That's how I see it. You always got to strive to be the best every time.
Perfect. Do you have anything else to add before we wrap this up?
Oh, man. No, thank you very much for having me. This has been fantastic. I think that it is great to see people do what you're doing. It is great that we can help each other get ourselves out there. And I encourage you to continue to do what you're doing, man, because you are inspiring other people out there like me. So thank you again, and it's been a pleasure.
I really appreciate it, Wim, and it's been a pleasure speaking with you. Thanks a lot.
Every time, my man.